Oh, by far, there's a prestige of owning it. I mean, all the attention, all the attraction, all the dreams, all the wanting.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassidy with Alt. We have Gary here. He is the seller of the 1999 PSA 10 Shadowless Charizard card that is currently running in Alt's liquid auctions. It's an incredible card. We can't wait to talk to him about it. And yeah, Gary, we'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Hey there, my name is Gary. I'm the owner of Gary Pokemart, average Pokemon card collector.
Who is Gary? How would you describe yourself as a collector?
Well, I mean, as a collector, I love sealed Pokemon and also high-end. I've been an avid collector since the beginning, 1999. I can go back as far as remembering Nintendo sending me a Charmeleon card in the mail when Pokemon first came out. Ever since then, I've been hooked. I was about 12 years old when it came out, and I've been collecting and playing the video game and doing this most of my life. But within the last 4 years, I've been buying and selling them and done pretty good for myself.
When you started collecting, what was kind of the draw that got you into Pokemon the most, and what was the best part, when you first started? How has that evolved over time?
Sure. Well, when I first started collecting, the characters caught my eye for sure, and it was always Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. I liked it, the aspect of it being an RPG, and where you can, in the video game, where you can raise your Pokemon and level them up and battle other trainers, and collecting them all, giving them these move sets. And then it went on to the card collecting of it when it came out a few years later. And it was wildfire. And I can remember Charizard always being the most famous and most popular Pokemon. And I was never able to get it when I was a kid. I never packed it or anything in that nature. So as an adult with adult money, I actually bought my first Charizard in the year 2000, and that was a BGS 9.5. I bought that off of eBay. At that time, I paid $25,000 for it for the first edition as well.
Why do you think this Charizard card in particular has such a provenance in the hobby and is kind of that iconic Pokemon card?
Well, I mean, let's just get this right. It is Charizard, and it's the most popular. It's always the most sought after, and in the card game, it's always the Pokemon that has the highest HP for that set. So Charizard has always been the most popular and most hit point for all of them in each set, and it's just a fan favorite. I mean, it's been ranked the number one Pokemon forever, and there's only 124 of them in existence in a PSA 10 first edition.
Such a rare card. It's got a crazy ownership group, Logan Paul, Steve Aoki, just to name a few. It's a very high profile ownership group. Do you think there's a certain prestige that goes along with owning one of these PSA 10s?
Oh, by far there's a prestige of owning it. I mean, all the attention, all the attraction, all the dreams, all the wanting. I mean, I worked very hard in my lifespan to get this card, and now it's up for auction. And I've only seen a few of them in my life graded in a 10. This one is pretty up there in being a 10, a real gem 10. It's pretty nice.
I guess the next best question is what is the most fulfilling part of owning a Pokemon card shop, and what is that like?
We are the only Pokemon store in Los Angeles, California, with 2 brick and mortar locations, only selling Pokemon cards. It's a dream come true. It's not like work. I work 7 days a week. I actually had to come home to do this interview with you guys because I forgot my laptop because I was on my way to work. But we have employees that help out as well, and I just love collecting and seeing all the new stuff that comes in every day, and seeing all the new collectors and trainers and people joining the hobby. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's just getting stronger. Pokemon just hit 28-year anniversary a few days ago. and I see very big things in the near future. It's definitely super big right now.
What is the weirdest thing you've seen come into your store?
The weirdest thing I seen come into my store, it was probably about 2 years ago during COVID, and this one gentleman actually came in with some fake cards that looked real but was not, and really couldn't tell the difference, and I ended up buying them, and I found out that they were fake at the end of the day. It was a learning experience, so you have to give and take the good and bad in this hobby. So that was probably the most craziest thing I ever dealt with coming into my store, and been collecting forever, and these were some pretty good copies.
There's only so much you can do to be proactive on that stuff. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose like that. So yeah. What comes next for your collection? What are the big things you're excited to do after this?
The big things to do after this is, I actually want to start doing more things for our stores. We're thinking about opening a third location, but not until, maybe next year. Also, more high-end cards to my collection. The other day, I was bidding on a Charmander from the Pokemon Snap collection. So that's something I'm looking to get into, and way more sealed product. So we just want to keep adding to our collection and helping out other individuals achieve their goals and their collection needs. That's where the Pokemart is headed to.
That's incredible. And again, you touched on this a little bit before, but just want to get your take on where the Pokemon market as a whole is headed and what is coming next for Pokemon collectors and the space moving into the next 28 years and how that looks.
Sure. Here's my outtake on it, and a few people agree and then a few people disagree. Pokemon correlated with Bitcoin and crypto. So I've seen within the last 8 years that every time BTC goes up, Pokemon goes up. So we just seen Bitcoin hit over $64,000, and it kind of makes sense why the Snap cards went ridiculous yesterday. The market has been in a downtrend this last 2 years, and from now on up until the next 2 years, I see it going into an uptrend. So hopefully we'll hit those all-time highs that we've seen a few years ago and break that. And then after that, it'll probably go into a downtrend again, and then it'll do the same thing over and over. So that's where I see this hobby going, and especially vintage. There's no way that you can really lose on it if you plan on collecting it and holding it for a while. It's gonna be here forever. And the cards are gonna get harder to obtain, especially cleaner copies and sealed product. It's just going to be very crazy. I mean, we're trying to obtain a bunch of first edition base set booster boxes right now. That's my main goal. There's probably less than 100 of them that I know that are inexistent myself, and it's a dying breed. They're like an extinct dinosaur right now. We actually have 2 of them as I speak to you guys, so we're trying to get more.
Is that the best thing you have in your collection right now?
Yes, that and the Charizard. That box is where the Charizard comes out from.
Gary, if you could pick who would buy the 1999 first edition Charizard card off of Vault, who is it?
Pick an individual or like someone that I know? Is that what you're referring to?
What's the type of person, or where is it going?
I suggest that anyone that is in this market and that can afford this card is looking to hold this card for a long time. And an individual that's secured and has a passion for this card and this hobby, you have to be in it and you have to like it as well. Not just for the aspect of money, because money comes and goes, but you have to like what you do and what you collect. Collect the card, not the money. So an individual that loves it and that's looking to hold for a while, because in the near future this is $1 million card. I mean, at one point they were hitting over $400,000. So That's what I would say to the individual that's going to get this card.
Live now on Alt Liquid Auctions, ending Thursday, March 28th. Go bid now.
Bid on the card, guys. It's a beauty. It's a grail. It's a Charizard, and it's coming from Gary's Pokemart. Enjoy and good luck to all.